right, and welcome back to the podcast, everyone. My name's Josue, and it's always glad to have you guys tune in. If you're new to this podcast, we post every Monday and Wednesdays. Monday, I give you a segment called Monday Message, and Wednesdays, we give a segment called Wednesday's Word from the Wise. Monday, just me teaching, giving content to help you grow personally, where Wednesday, I get to sit down with pretty cool guests and draw from them. Man, I love interviewing folks, and we have a great time doing it. Man, I'm super excited about today's message. I do want to apologize, man. There was no post last week. Man, we had some wedding plans and some fun activities with our family coming in town. And, well, priority-wise, I put my family above this. So we had to make time for that. So, again, I do apologize, but we're going to be kicking it off with some more fun things. Man, I got some exciting news. This Friday, at 6:30 p.m. this Friday. I encourage you guys to come check out Mountaintop. I got the honor of, going to be able to speak there with Daniel and Gus. They're super awesome guys. If you guys remember in episode number 72, I did an interview with both of them, talking about their ministry, Mountaintop Ministries, getting the word in you and making friends. Phenomenal episode, actually. It's a lot of fun, so I encourage you guys. I had a lot of fun making that episode, but it's got a lot of listens too, so I encourage you guys, if you haven't heard it, go check out episode number 72 with Gus and Dan. Awesome guys. But I'm going to be there this Friday, February 24th at 6:30 p.m., Heartbeat Church, Colorado Springs. So come out, come check us live. It'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. So let's go ahead and progress forward with Proverbs. We're in part 3 of progressing forward with Proverbs. I love this series. I'm enjoying it. I've retitled it, and man, it's just a lot of fun. So let's dive right in. So far, we talked about the different principles about progressing forward with Proverbs. Is 1, know your worth. Know your worth. You're a king. You're a queen. Man, guys, God's Spirit is living inside of you. Man, you are worth a lot. You're worth every cent in heaven. God gave the most valuable thing in heaven for you. So there's a lot of worth in you. Secondly, making God the one that you run to. What I mean by that is when your stress levels get high, when you start getting stressed out and freaked out, what do you turn to? Some people turn to Netflix, their Xbox 360, porn. Man, there's plenty of things that people turn to, but man, make God the one who's your strong hold, your strong fortress. All right, but today we're going to dive in the topic or the principle of being a leader. That's right, being a leader. So if we're going to progress forward with Proverbs, the challenge that we're going to progress forward in is being a leader. So Proverbs chapter 31, verse 8 through 9, we're going to go ahead and kick it off. It says this. It says, open your mouth for the speechless in the cause of all who are appointed to die. Open your mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Man, this is powerful because in this letter to King Solomon, he's being challenged to speak up for those who are speechless, for those who are poor, and for those who are needy. What he's being challenged is to do something noble. And this is important because a lot of times people want honor, they want respect without doing anything worth honoring or worth respecting. So if we are going to progress forward in life, man, let us be the leader that is going to receive honor and is going to receive respect. So this is powerful. Again, this whole series that we're talking about in February, or the focus, you may think we're not on point, but we're on point because the point of relationships, this series, right? This is what we're kind of focusing on. But like, if you want to be someone who is like, man, admirable, or someone that's like, man, I love that guy. I need to be with that guy. Or that, man, this woman is phenomenal. Man, you got to be someone worth following. You can't get, the fellowship or the honoring without doing what is worth following and what's doing without worth honoring. And that's why we start off first with knowing your worth. Again, we know it's God's grace. Man, it's God's grace that's on us, that's in us, that is moving around us. Man, it's because of God. But it's our faith as well, our response to that. See, a lot of people only camp out on the knowing your worth side, and that's good. That's grace. But man, if we don't operate in faith as well, balancing that out by walking out, because I know who my worth is, now I can work worthily of the calling, right? So in this, King Solomon's being challenged, man, stand up for those who are in need. I love this quote from Simon Sinek from the book Leaders Eat Last, Why Some Teams Pull Together and Others Don't. Phenomenal book. I encourage you guys to check it out. I'm re-listening to it again. This is my third time going through it. I encourage you guys to check it out. But he says this, one of the quotes I like, leadership is not a license to do less. It is a responsibility to do more. I'm going to say it again. Leadership is not a license to do less. It is a responsibility to do more. And what is that more doing? It's standing up for those in need. It's being attentive. It's being willing to care for others. My dad would tell me this in high school, man, always, and it's always put in perspective. He would always tell me, like, man, the nerds in high school or the people that are kind of shy or off, man, care for them. And, you know, it's a powerful story because my dad would just then tell me, like, because I was that person. I was that person. And man, it challenged me that, man, I got to be friendly. I got to be kind. And so I just want to encourage you guys that, man, you know, there is just, in the Bible tells us that they will know us, that we are Christians or we are Christ followers or we are his disciples by our love for one another. And love, it's actually an action word. It's a word of standing up for those in need. It's a word for caring for those, even when it doesn't bring you personal gain. Right? So we'll continue on. Proverbs chapter 31, and I'm going to read verse 23. I like this right here. I used to have a title or a series, Attracting a Proverbs 31 Woman. You want to attract a Proverbs 31 woman? Here's the verse. I wouldn't really, share a lot about it like that because at the time I was single. But man, following these principles, I'm glad to say I have a Proverbs 31 woman now. Glory to God, Miss Ella. She's the bomb, and I appreciate her so much. But Proverbs chapter 31, verse 23, it says this. It says, her husband is well known at the city gates, where he sits with other civic leaders. So even in this, again, calling back up for leadership, for honor, if we're going to be someone worth following, well, we have to do the things that are worth following, right? And the first thing is, one, stepping up for those in need. Secondly, coming to this, look, it says that her husband is well known at the city gates. So what does that mean? It means that he has a good reputation. Proverbs 22:1, it says a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, loving favor rather than silver and gold. Let me say that again. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Why? Why is that? Because if you, I love Billy Epperhart. He says it like this, right? The best things in life are attracted, not pursued. A lot of us are trying to pursue the things that will bring us gain. We pursue the things that, money, for instance, or we pursue position, or we pursue ministry. There's a lot of different things that we can pursue, but when we would focus on just internally saying, man, in ourselves and investing in ourselves, man, those things will come without us even having to try and pursue it. Andrew just said this at leadership school or a Saturday school just this last Saturday, and it's powerful. A lot of times we pray, God, use me. God, use me. But the even more powerful prayer is, God, make me usable. God, make me usable. Listen, it is important that we take care of our reputation. And not in a bad way, because, people can fall in the other ditch where they start caring about what everyone thinks about them. I'm not saying that. But man, Proverbs, it's a book of wisdom. It's telling us to choose a good name rather than great riches, loving favor rather than silver and gold. So if you continue out getting a bad rep around people, I'm telling you, you won't be trusted. You won't be usable. Man, again, it's not always that we have to lean on, man, I'm trusting God. I'm trusting God. I'm trusting God. Sometimes the question is, can God trust you? Can God trust you? man, sometimes we're praying and we're fighting because we're not getting where we want to be, right? Maybe the promotion we want, maybe the advancement in our business, our ministry, our life. And a lot of times we think it's the devil, like, man, he's coming against me. Oh gosh. But sometimes it may be the Lord. The Lord may be putting pause on you right now because your character can't sustain it. That's why it comes down to this. It's like, a leader, they're well known at the city gates. They're well known. They have a good reputation. And so when you focus on being a leader, a good leader who stands up for others, who cares, I'm telling you, your name will be good. I had someone, I was sharing an example, a place I was ministering at. Man, I'm not trying to add extra salt to this wound, but I'm just saying, I was given this example and it was similar to what this other person was doing. And so he let me know he was kind of concerned, even though I wasn't talking about this person. So we sat down and talked, and it was a great talk. Man, I love this guy. He's phenomenal. But the one thing I encourage him is like, man, your character is going to play out. Your character will advance. Your good name, you're well known at the city gates. That's going to play out. No one's going to confuse what I said with you, right? And so sometimes we get concerned about those things, but man, if you are a leader worth following, people will know your character. Your character will always weigh out. Secondly, where he sits with other civic leaders. Where he sits. So again, her husband is well known at the city gates, and then where he sits with other civic leaders. The person is surrounded by other leaders. It's like the old adage, birds of a feather flock together, right? So who you're surrounded by is so important. Are you surrounded by other leaders? Or do you surround yourself with followers? I love the interview I had with Andrew Jacobs, and he talked about, man, don't get connected with just an echo chamber that's just echoing what you want to hear. Man, you want people who are going to hold you accountable. Who are the people in your life telling you no? Because I'm telling you, when you grow through that process and you have great people in your corner and great people in your life, man, you're going to grow to be that leader who's sitting at the city, who's well known, good reputation at the city gates, sitting with other civic leaders. And man, some of us may feel like, man, Josue, like, people are always saying something bad about me. Well, here's the deal. Like, think of it this way. Is it everyone's fault that they have something off to say about you? Or do you need to look internally and look at yourself? Again, I'm not adding that we go around caring what everyone says. Proverbs 29:5, it even says this. It says, the fear of man brings a snare, but whoever trusts the Lord shall be safe. So the fear of man, being fearful of man, or always continue to think about what man thinks about you, that's a trap. But man, if you put your trust in the Lord, you put the trust in your Lord to do right. I'm not saying you're going to get it right every time, but man, it won't be such an up and down roller coaster. Listen, God loves you and he's calling you up, but you put your trust in him to walk forward. Surround yourself with awesome leaders. And I'm telling you, you'll start progressing forward. So again, you want to be someone worth following. You want to be someone worth honor. Do something that's honorable. Do something that's worth following. And how do you do that? You do that by standing up for those who are in need. Stand up. Stand up for those who are in need. Come and help them. Leadership is not a license to do less. It's a responsibility to do more. Right? Want to attract a Proverbs 31 woman? Be well known. Have a good reputation. Have a good reputation. Sit with other civic leaders. Sit with other people who have gone through experience, who are trusted, and who are cared, because listen, they're going to sharpen you up too. Man, I sit around with different guys and I'm challenged. I'm challenged in my fitness. I'm challenged in my integrity. I'm challenged to be a better husband. I'm so thankful. Man, Josh Bartlett, I got to shout out Josh Bartlett. He's a phenomenal leader and a phenomenal husband. Man, he challenges me every day to, all right, I'm going to walk better as a husband. Will Royer, man, doing phenomenal things here at Charis Bible College. I am honored by him. I'm glad to be able to sit down with him when I can, but he's a phenomenal, strong leader. Man, he cares. He cares for people. But he's also very smart. He's invested a lot inside of him. People like Ray Patterson, business school coordinator, full of wisdom. Oh my gosh, I'm called up every single day. Judah Bryant, man, one of the most humblest guys I've ever met. Humblest guys. He loves people. And it's genuine. It's so powerful. I'm challenged. Surround yourself with amazing people. Surround yourself with amazing people. So, a good leader is someone who's attentive to others' needs, right? So they're willing to speak up. They're willing to speak up. They're well known, but they're well known. And here's the how factor: is be someone who listens and is attentive to others in need. So again, I felt like I've shared some of the how or the why or the what. What are we doing? We're going to be leaders. Why is it important? Because man, you want to have a good reputation. So I want to talk about the how. Well, how do we get to that place of having a good reputation? How do we get to that place of sitting with other civic leaders? And you can take this principle of being someone who listens and is attentive to others in need, right? So again, that challenge earlier Solomon got was to stand up for those in need. So be others focused, not me focused. I love this example of Jesus, right? So Jesus, our example, powerful example, was on his way to go pray to raise someone from the dead. Okay, so he's on a mission. He's doing his thing, right? I know a lot of you who listen to this podcast, you guys are on your mission. Man, you guys are doing your things. You guys are dedicated to growth just as much as I am. And so Jesus is on his way, but then he gets stopped, right? Someone touches him and he feels power released. And he asks, man, who touched me? Who touched me? And his disciples are like, bro, come on, man. Everyone's touching you. Everyone's touching you. But this goes to show that, man, Jesus was sensitive. Even as he was on his mission, he was sensitive to other people and others around him. And this is where the powerful verse comes in Matthew chapter 9, verse 48, because the woman with the issue of blood comes up and says, it was me. But in Matthew 9:48, this is what he says. And he said to her, daughter, be of good cheer. Your faith has made you well. Go in peace. So check this out. Jesus was on his mission, but he is attentive because he senses power drawing from him. And what does he do? He doesn't continue on. He doesn't say, excuse me, sorry guys, I'm in focus. I gotta, do my thing. But he stops. He stops and he calls her daughter. What did he do? He took time to connect with her. Man, if we would just take time to connect with others, there's ministry that can happen there. And he encourages her, be of good cheer. Your faith has made you well. Go in peace. And man, we see this miraculous miracle happen. Why? Because Jesus took his time to listen and to be attentive. To listen and to be attentive. So what you can do, and this is something that I've challenged myself even at work, is make time to walk slowly through the hallways. Make time. Man, I used to walk around with AirPods all the time, and I'm being challenged to just take off my AirPods. I know I'm busy. I know there's other things to think of, but I'm going to take my time. I'm going to take my time. Why? Because there are opportunities that God wants to use you for. God a lot of times works through the inconvenience. So, even at work, during our breaks, man, I take time just to walk slowly for those opportunities to connect with others. And that's what you do, right? You take the time just to connect, to listen. So, like when you're talking with someone, instead of, you always have to talk about your thing, or you always having to talk about what, you're doing. Ask questions. Ask questions and listen to others and hear about their interests. If you have a hard time talking with people, use this acronym FORD, okay? FORD. And I use this a lot when I talk with people, right? And it's something that I just think of because I don't know, have you ever been in that awkward situation when you're trying to talk with someone and it's just like, man, what do we talk about? I don't even know you like that. But man, the Ford acronym is family. You talk about family, everyone can talk about their family. Occupation, talk about what they do. What do you do? Talk about recreational things, like what do you do for fun? And lastly is talk about dreams. So Ford, that's family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. You could talk about any of those 4 topics and listen with intent, to listen to understand. And I'm telling you, you'll get a lot of good things out of what people are sharing. You want to do an extracurricular deal that's going to help you get better at listening. I encourage the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it talks about, in one of the lessons is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Powerful, powerful chapter. A lot of great examples. But man, when you can get to that point of seeking to understand first, then to be understood, you can go a long way. But man, I've sat down with, and man, I used to be like this at the gym too, where it's just like, all right, AirPods in, hood on. I don't want to look at anyone. I just want to focus on my deal. But I'm taking more of the time to, all right, take the hood off, be open, be accessible. And it's cool, the opportunities I get to talk and chat with people and minister, just share little things. I mean, just this morning, got an opportunity to talk with someone and just share the gospel, What do? You make yourself accessible. Make yourself available. So, again, being someone worth following. Our relationship series of progressing forward with Proverbs. Not saying that you have to be perfect, but man, are you making progress? Are you not distracted in these areas? 1, know your worth. 2, making God the one that you run to when you're high stressed, and be a leader. Okay? So how do we be a leader? Man, there's a lot of great things we can do in being a leader. Speak up for those in need. Speak up for those in need. How do you do that? By listening attentively. Right? Listening to those needs. Why? Because leadership is not a license to do less. It's a responsibility to do more. Proverbs 31:23, you want to attract a Proverbs 31 woman? Man, be well known at the city gates and sit with other leaders. So how do you be well known? Is you gain a good reputation. How do you do that? Well, man, listen to others. Listen to their needs and step up and help them. Okay? Sitting with other civic leaders, that's going to challenge you. That's going to cause you to rise up in your leadership. That's going to cause you to be a better person. Right? Ultimately, what are we doing? We're taking our time. We're taking our time to walk around just like Jesus did and made that connection with the woman with the issue of blood. He connected with her. He spoke life. The way that you become a better leader, the way that you gain a better reputation is be someone who listens and is attentive to others' needs. Another great podcast episode that I encourage you guys to listen. Sarah Grace, she's pastor of ministries at Freedom Church, crushing it. Episode 56, Seeing People. Seeing People. Powerful episode. I might actually post that as a repost for Wednesday's Word from the Wise, because that's a phenomenal episode. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. So you guys can see that, listen to that Wednesday as well. But Seeing People, phenomenal message of just taking your time. All right. So again, another action item. If you want more to learn about this, look at 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Phenomenal read. Stephen Covey, awesome author. But lastly, you know what we do? We do our 3-minute challenge. I want to challenge you for the next 3 minutes before you do anything else. Take these 3 minutes. And what I want you to do is just to walk slowly. Wherever you're going, just walk slow. Now, I'm not saying that you have to walk slow just to walk slow, but walk slow with a purpose to listen and be attentive to others in need. And man, I'm telling you, you can impact someone's life by just simply walking slow and being attentive to others. All right. Man, I want to hear the testimonies about your guys' opportunity of just taking that time to be attentive and listening to others. You do this and you become, this becomes habit for you of just being attentive and listening to others. You're going to be well known. You're going to have a good reputation. And your other leaders are going to want to sit with you. Why? Because you're doing something worth honoring. So anyways, love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, have a blessed, amazing day.